Welcome back to another video and welcome to the inside of the Citroen C3 Aircross. I'm at the launch, I'm driving solo, I've got space for 7 people, and that's what makes this car so special. But there's a lot more that makes this car so special, and one of those things is pricing. And for sub 400,000 Rand, you can get a 7-seater car. So this new C3 Aircross in its 7-seater configuration sells for 355,000 Rand. But if you only want a 5-seater but still love the Aircross, you can get it, because that sells for 10,000 Rand less at 345,000 Rand. The other thing that makes this car special is its engine. So it's powered by a 1.2 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder petrol engine. So it's not huge, but it puts out some decent power at 81 kilowatts and 205 newton meters of torque. Now, in its segment, it's got the most torque out of any of its cars, as I'm going to show you on screen here. So that's quite compelling, especially looking at the price, the practicality. It's hard to ignore what the new C3 Aircross is giving and providing people in South Africa as an alternative. And when it comes to Aircross, it's all about practicality and space, which is something you'll definitely enjoy inside here, because you've got little cubbies and storage bins and all of those sorts of things dotted all around the interior, which makes it very practical and very convenient. And then sorry for the change in audio, but I've realized that the wind was horrific and completely blew out all the audio I did here. So anyway, taking a quick look at the exterior, you can see that it still looks like the current C3. It's still got all of those design cues with the split LED daytime running lights, as well as those horizontal lines and the new Citroen logo. It looks very nice, and you can see it's a lot more muscular and a lot bigger. I love these wheels, the diamond cut. It looks nice and it matches the overall aesthetic of the car. Very, very nice choice. It's very boxy. As you can see, you need to fit more people into the back, but this aids in it looking a lot more like an SUV, unlike the rest of the range, like the C3, which is a lot smaller, so it looks a lot more premium too. And then coming around the side of the car, you can see the two-tone colors, which, as I mentioned, this is a free option when selecting your Citroen C3 Aircross. And here you can see some other variations of those designs that you can choose from, and the full range available when buying a new one. Continuing around the rear, you can see the new LED rear tail lights that match the design of the front ones with that split design, which looks really nice and very modern. And then looking at some detailing on the rear of the car here, you can see this little design's got some texture to it just to add some premiumness to the overall design of the car. And then you can see that this is the Citroen C3 Aircross there by the badging, and the badge on the other side is just related to the engine, which is that 1.2 litre turbocharged engine putting out over 200 newton meters of torque. Now just excuse the audio for the next section, but I bumped into a friend. And once again, Mr. How Much in the background. So what's up?
I recognize. Is that what they said?
We still haven't really defined the name for us, but we're getting there.
Okay, guys. I'll check again next time.
Okay, cool. And then taking a closer look at the interior, as I've said, Citroen is a fun and funky brand, which you can see here in the choice of the fabrics on the seats, which is contrasting, different types, different fabrics, very, very cool and very, very comfortable. Then here's the interior. A nice looking steering wheel, all the buttons you need, a digital driver's display, and this 10-inch infotainment with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's a lot of cubbies and spaces and storage places to put things in this car, which is why it's the Aircross. That's what it's all about. Now, unfortunately, there is only one standard USB in the front here. There isn't USB-C or even 2 of them. And there's just a standard aircon and not a digital infotainment. But something I love about this car is the design of the vents. Now, yes, this is a cheap-ish car, but it still can be cheap, but it doesn't have to be ugly. And I think this is what they've done really nicely in this car, and what Citroen does really nicely overall. Lots of textures, lots of designs, just making it a really nice place to be in. And then going into the rear, where the car makes its biggest difference, because this is where it is huge. As you can see, there are 2 additional seats in the back there, for children, for small adults, whatever you need. A nice bench seat in the middle here for your standard passengers, people who aren't too concerned about legroom and that. But with me being this tall, and that's in my driving position, I don't think the legroom's actually too bad. I've got a little bit of space here, but not everybody is as tall as me, so I think they'd be pretty comfortable back here anyway. And because Citroen think about all of their passengers, they've even given the people in the back their own fans, so they can keep cool and they can get all the ventilation that the people in the front do, even though they're way back there, which is a very nice touch and definitely something that was thought about and considered when putting this car together. Now, if you want to see if I can fit back there, well, you're going to have to subscribe and wait to see when I do the full review on my YouTube channel when I get the car on test, so you better subscribe. And then taking a quick look into the boot where those 2 extra seats are, when you do push them down or eventually get them down, like me who only uses one hand because he's operating solo here, when the seats do eventually go down, you'll see that they do eat into a bit of the boot floor, but what I did learn is that you can remove them completely to give you a lot more space there. And then something I forgot to mention along the way is that this comes with a 6-speed automatic transmission. So a 6-speed. It's the only car in its segment with a 6-speed automatic transmission at this price point too. So again, Citroen just keep on ticking off those boxes that make this car super appealing. And then before I show you the inside of the 5-door, I thought I'd quickly chat about my first impressions of how the car drives, how it feels, the suspension, and everything to do with that, because with an Aircross, that's what they take into account and what they really focus in on. And here the drive style is really nice. You're in quite a high commanding driving position, high above all the other cars. The suspension is also really soft when it needs to be, but firm enough when you're on the road. So going on the dirt roads and going off the beaten track is definitely what this is designed for, and with that overall ground clearance, you aren't going to have any issues. And then taking a look at the 5-seater version, as you'll see in the back here, this is identical except when you start looking at the boot. Because once you've opened up the boot and you look inside here, you'll see that there aren't any seats back here, but there's actually a normal sized boot with quite a bit of space. And with you being able to remove the seats from the 7-seater version and only a 10,000 Rand option, that might be the one to take, just to give you that extra bit of versatility and usability and practicality and all of the abilities that I can think of. Now, if you want to get your hands on a Citroen C3 Aircross or any Citroen, then go check on out on changecars.co.za. They're a website that sells new and used cars, but the best thing about them is that they vet and check every single dealership that sells cars on their website, so they know exactly who they are and what they're selling, always being in control of the quality of the cars and the service. Other great things about Change Cars is that their website is like a hub for everything automotive. So you can go and watch car reviews, you can read articles, you can even do financial things like going to see what you can afford per month through their finance calculator, and you can even bring them quotes from dealerships that aren't on Change Cars. Bring it to them, and not only will they match the quote, but they'll beat it too. So go check out changecars.co.za. They're also a proud partner of Greg Dennis Reviews. So thanks for watching this video and for giving me some company during my solo drive at the launch of the Citroen C3 Aircross. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned a lot more about this new car and what it has to offer. But I will be going into more detail once I get it on test and I can do a full review and see what it's like to live with for an entire week. And then I will do the verdict in the form of my GDR test, whether you should get it, drive it, or remove it from the list of cars that you're looking at. So please like the video, go and subscribe, and until then, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.